Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carruth Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2019 monster movie sci-fi adventure titled Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, Godzilla, King of the Monsters runs for 2 hours and 12 minutes long. It is directed by Michael Dougherty. It is produced by Mary Parent, Alex Garcia, Thomas Tull, John Joshney, and Brian Rogers. The script was written by Michael Dougherty and Zach Shields. The story was done by Michael Dougherty, Max Borenstein, and Zach Shields, based off of the characters from the company Toho in Japan. Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, they're all part of the company known as Toho. The score was done by Bear McCreary, the cinematography by Lawrence Sher, and it was edited by Roger Barton, Richard Pearson, and Bob Duxey. And the stars of the movie are Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Bradley Whitford, Sally Hawkins, Charles Dance, Thomas Middleditch, Aisha Hinds, O'Shea Jackson Jr., David Strathairn, Ken Watanabe, and Zhang Ziyi. So just the idea that the radiated, oversized reptile will make his return to the big screen, we were all eagerly awaiting for this beast's present as he battles rival monsters, destroys everything that crosses his path, unintentionally of course, and releases his trademark high-pitched roar and, maybe unleashing his fire breath or his frozen ice breath, whichever weapon of arsenal of choice of his choosing may be. We were all eagerly anticipating it. And we were also eagerly anticipating the arrival of the monsters, who have also played a very integral part in the Godzilla universe. In 2014, when the MonsterVerse jump-started the franchise with Godzilla, it was a letdown due to it not living up to the legacy of the other flicks that made him legendary back in the 50s. It was badly bogged down to a psychological drama, leaving the monster as nothing more than an afterthought. In fact, he probably was only on for like maybe 10-15 minutes of screen time and nothing more. This newer version, under the direction from Michael Dougherty, still maintains the family drama from before, does little justice in its improvement to keep us intrigued, therefore making the results anticlimactic and overall forgettable. Now I know what people are saying. Why is it that you can't seem to appreciate a Godzilla film? You made a lot of harsh criticism in the 1998 movie. Well, it was mostly due to just bad acting and that they were passing Godzilla off as a weak villain when really he should be a strong, powerful, virtually untouchable, mutated reptilian entity, when really he was basically kind of weak. And then the 2014 one was really mostly focusing about the human drama that led up to his fruition. I mean, the build up to him making his appearance was dull, wanton, anticlimactic, as it focused more on the human drama stories as opposed to hopefully seeing him arise from the depths of wherever he comes from and start wreaking havoc all over the city, whatever city he He finds his destination. In the 2014 case, it's San Francisco, where he decides to paint the town red, or just simply paint the town flat. Once again, we have the human drama once again over overdoing its welcome, and Godzilla and the rest of the other mythological beasts that are roaming the globe, well, they're nothing more than just an afterthought once again. We start the opening scene in San Francisco when Godzilla was wreaking havoc in the city. And here we find Mark, played by Kyle Chandler, and his wife, Dr. Emma Russell, played by a very disappointing Vera Farmiga. I've seen her in a lot of great movies, especially in the Conjuring films as Lorraine Warren. She's just amazing as an actress, but here I found her to be very, very disappointing in this one. Maybe not at her fault, but maybe what was given to her in the script that was the real disappointment. So they're definitely retreating to a shelter along with their children Madison and Andrew, while Godzilla is on the rampage. His unintentional destruction results in the loss of their son, as the family were rightfully horrified by their grief. So, this guy is still lamenting over his son's death, understandably so. And his wife, his daughter, well, they're trying to fix things up while San Francisco is in a major need of major reparations. So, cut to 5 years later, and the Russells are now apart from each other. Mark is now testing on sound waves to see if it will respond to wolves, while Emma and Madison, played by Millie Bobby Brown from the Stranger Things series, well, she's actually making her movie debut, and I gotta say, I was kind of like anticipating to see how she would do on the big screen, and hopefully that she was going to do an amazing job on the big screen like she does on the small screen. They are now working for Monarch, which is a secret organization who deal with both the military and scientific research. Over at Monarch, the team is led by Dr. Ashiro Sarazawa, played by Ken Watanabe, Dr. Ling, played by Zhang, and Dr. Vivian Graham, played by Sally Hawkins, whose purpose is to retain the nurturing of the mythological monsters known as the Titans, who roam in various parts of the world. Most of them remain temporarily dormant. There are actually 17 in total. Suddenly, Monarch is under a deep threat by the mercenaries led by Alan Jonah, played by Charles Dance, who wants to maintain the monsters as a way to demote the human race from being the superior beings here on Earth. On their mission, they kidnap Emma and Madison and gain possession of a device that's used to detect whales, better known as Orca. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say wolves. I meant whales. Yes, because this whole device. Yes. So, yeah. Once again, this is definitely just another situation where we have man versus monster. And then again, we once again find ourselves seeing military and science trying to once again play God, place the roles of the saviors of humanity, by doing things that they really shouldn't be doing. As I said before in my previous movie of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it doesn't pay off to play God. Because if you end up playing God, it's going to backfire. So once again, we find ourselves in the fictionalized world where scientists think they have the answers to it all, but then it comes back and bites them, and it bites them hard, straight up their fucking asses. And now, because of their incompetence, their lack of further research, their lack of common sense, the whole world is pretty much fucked in their faces. And it's gonna take a lot to restore what's left of humanity. But hey, they're trying to do this because they want to demote us. For centuries, we have basically become the leaders of the world. After the dinosaurs got wiped out and the giant mammals, we humans just picked up the void. We've been doing it for centuries. From ancient Greece to ancient Rome to pre-biblical era to the post-biblical era, well into the 21st century as we're speaking, we are the dominant forces on this earth. We may not have the physical stature like the dinosaurs and the giant beasts, but we have the superior intelligence, the resourcefulness, the abilities to think cognitively. We're able to adapt to the usage of technology, to the usage of socialization, to the usage of communicating like no other human, like no other creature on earth. Sure, they may have their own communicative tactics, like a dog or cat could have their own ways of connecting with each other, but we connect in such ways that goes even beyond just a one-on-one discussion. And we have so much resources and so much communicative apparatuses that we can even communicate from afar. Hey, being a human isn't such a bad thing after all. Sure, sometimes I often talk low about them, and yes, we have actually done quite our share of bad things, like pollution, like hunting, like killing, wars. And yeah, we've also have had wars with even our next door neighbors. But in the end, humans really are superior. Well, in this movie, the reason why they unleashed the Titans or these giant mythological beasts was because they wanted to make a point. And the point they wanted to make out was that humans have been, you know, the leaders of the living things for way too long, and we have done a lot of bad. So by bringing out these beasts, they wanted to just lower us down. They wanted to demote us from our positions just for the sake of saving humanity, while at the cost trying to kill us. And basically, that's what these mercenaries, their purpose and their motives are. Surreal, yes. Bizarre, yes. Climactic, not really. But this is kind of like what we get from the story. And yeah, there's of course a little bit of a plot twist and a striking revelation that is just so cringeworthy, so random, so all of a sudden. It makes you just want to just bite your fist in utter disdain. In the 2 hour and 15-minute duration, the film shifts between Mark going on a mission to rescue his family, while Godzilla goes into battle with the other beasts to determine who's really the king of the monsters. Now, although there are 17 Titans in all, a lot of them don't even really get a lot of screen time, almost to the point of, what was the point of bringing them on if they weren't going to have enough screen time? The only three that kind of had more screen time was Mothra, which is a big, giant, mutated moth creature. And then you had Rodan, which was kind of like a giant hybrid, like half bird, half dragon. And then you had King Ghidorah, who is almost reminds you of the Greek mythological creature, the Hydra, which, is like a serpent creature with 3 heads, breathes fire. So yeah, you had these creatures, but they don't really get enough airtime. Once again, the human drama and the whole sci-fi elements was once again usurped the giant beast. When you want to see a Godzilla movie and you want to see the giant beast, that's what you come here for. Never mind the human drama and all of their problems and all of their family situations. We don't need that. Just bring on the fucking monsters, for Christ's sake. So, joining the party of the monsters are a few old friends and enemies of Godzilla's past, which were Rodan, Mothra, and the always evil King Ghidorah. Like I said, there were 17, but the emphasis was basically on these 4 beasts. And the others, well, if you've never seen a Godzilla film and you want to know about the rest of the other beasts, you'll never know about them. Because you'll just have to watch the old Godzilla films in order to get a better understanding of which other ones were there. And even the other beasts like Rodan, Mothra, and Ghidorah, even they're pretty much almost like don't get enough screen time. Because the whole series is all about, Mark going on his mission to rescue his family, to also go on some mission to put a stop to them, things like that. We don't really care. It's all randomized, it's anticlimactic, and the characters are by virtue very underdeveloped. Fans came to see the monsters battle, and even the execution displayed was quite poorly set. There are basically 4 epic battles spanning the continents, and even a couple of them were also poorly executed. The one in Antarctica was overwhelmed, though heaved snow and complete through 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 heavy snow and complete darkness. It had potential to be really special, the Antarctica scene, but then they turned focus on the human characters and leaving the climactic ending to the battles. The only saving grace through this anticlimactic battles was the sound and design, which creates some atmosphere to the story. Yes, when you want to sit into a heavy theater and you want to get the sound effects to full effect, you couldn't find a better place. When it's under a theatrical atmosphere, the loud booms, the sounds and everything is like really in your face and you just feel the impact. But if you watch it on cable or Netflix or things like that, well, it's just not the same. You know, At the end of the day, the audience has become so bored that they simply just couldn't care less about the family and became taken aback by the awful screenplay. I mean, the acting wasn't really that good, so, I'm not even really mentioning too much about the acting from the performers because it wasn't really that good or even worth taking note. It's a shame that an amazing cast was badly misused, especially David Strathairn, who was given little to do and had stupid dialogue thrown at them. The last battle at Fenway Park in Boston was quite exciting, and it prevented this film from being a total abomination. Although one scene alone is not going to save this movie. If they could have settled with more monster battles and depended less on humans who lack intelligence, who lack common sense, who lack scientific integrity, I probably would have liked it more. If the film was maybe 90 minutes long and not going over the 2 hour mark, then this movie could have given the viewers what they wanted: more campy action and less human drama. Hopefully, Hollywood will get it right. I mean, I know coming sometime either next year or maybe in 2022, we are going to see Godzilla versus Kong. Maybe that's something to look forward to. Now, a lot of people are wondering, do I actually like monster movies? Well, a few years ago, I saw Peter Jackson's King Kong, and I gotta tell you, I was amazed by it. It was gold. But since then, I haven't really found too much to get excited about with this movie, or with 2014's Godzilla, or even 1998's one, with Matthew Broderick. This movie was very anticlimactic and dull. If and even Emma Russell's transformation from being a loving, sympathetic, almost victim, it turned out that all this time that she was the head behind this whole releasing the beast things. And of course, she was doing it all because of saving humanity. Well, what about your son? Don't you realize that your son died because of the destruction of Godzilla and him running rampant? Or what about this? I mean, but was this just all for the protection of humanity? After all, human beings are the worst. We've destroyed, we pollute, we cause chaos, we fight, we kill. We have hatred in our bloods. And even when we praise somebody, it's still a form of somewhat hate because we're such deceitful, hateful individuals, and we've been running the planet since for thousands of years, and now it's time for us to take a backseat and let these beasts take over. Like as if they're going to be the saviors of this planet. It's all illogical, nonsensical bullshit. I mean, yeah, I know it's supposed to be surreal, and I know we're supposed to suspend our disbeliefs. And that, oh, hey, it's just a movie. I mean, there's no such thing as a Godzilla. There's no such thing as King Ghidorah or Rodan or Mothra and whoever else. No. Okay, fine. I understand that. But this movie tends to take itself way too seriously that I sit back and I was like, often said to myself, can you believe this fucking bullshit that's coming out of them? Saving humanity by unleashing giant beasts to destroy our homes, to destroy our city, and the property damage coming in the billions or the trillions? Or the gazillions? I don't know. How far can we go up to? Quadrillions? Just doesn't make sense. A lot of this movie doesn't make sense. In fact, the only enjoyable scenes are when Godzilla the is battling the monsters, particularly King Ghidorah, since King Ghidorah might be the most dangerous beast of them all. At first I was excited to be seeing them return, but then they should have focused on the other Titans. But instead they focused on the three most well-known, which were Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, and of course Godzilla himself. But in the end, the fight scenes were few and far between. They didn't really get enough airtime. In the end, we're stuck with another human drama version of Godzilla, where Godzilla and the rest of his other beastly adversaries are all pushed to the back, while the family drama between Mark, his wife, Emma, who eventually is like the real mastermind behind these diabolical schemes, and her daughter Edna, and her daughter Madison, who's caught in the middle. This was just one big muddled mess that the director could not really get himself out of. And so for that, if I was to give this movie a scale out of 10, I would give Godzilla King of the Monsters a 5 out of 10. Hopefully, Godzilla vs. Kong might probably turn things around. Hopefully. So I guess this ends my Red review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. But just remember the 3 simple rules. Be kind, be courteous, and please refrain from any rude comments. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Karate Writer saying, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.